أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيب قلوبنا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. I want to pay my condolences to Imam of our time, Imam Mohammadi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and to you mu'mineen wa mu'minat on the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and his companions. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this honor, privilege, for attending this majalis and discussing different topics regarding the tragedy and the incident of Karbala. And may Allah give us the strength for the sake of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein to be on the right path and to act upon the commands of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. As we have been discussing the great topic of why Ashura took place, as a Shia, as a Muslim, it is important that we analyze the history in regards to that, we learn from it and bring change within our lives. So the first night we discussed few main points, and last night we discussed that how Imam Ali did his politics and how that kind of politics made some people scared of their self-interests, and that led to killing of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Tonight we will discuss some of the main factors that were the reasons that the Ashura took place, and that is the deceptions of Muawiyah. As I've said before, someone asked a Sunni scholar that who is Muawiyah. In reply he said Muawiyah is Yazid's father. So from that sentence you can understand who Muawiyah is and how he did his politics. Now let's analyze some of his politics and see within our society, see now that the same thing is happening, but different characters are there. For example, in the past it was Muawiyah, right now it's someone else, but the same politics is being played. Now tonight inshallah we'll discuss some of the factors or some of the methods that Muawiyah used during his time. So he made the condition towards himself, he made the people towards himself, and that is why he ruled in Sham for 40 years nearly, and that is a very long time. And during this time he created many division in regards to Islamic teachings. One of the things that he used was propaganda, publicity, and advertising. One of his ways of making people deviate from the right path of Islam is propaganda against the companions, against the teachings of Islam, against the noble personalities. He used propagation. One of the tools for him to deviate people from the right path was propagation and advertisement. Now, even in today's era, we have that this tool is being used, the tool of propagation or advertising and making people deviate from the right path. Now we see, especially in today's world, we see the media platform is being used for the people to go away from the right path, and they control our lifestyle in a sense. For example, the likes of Hollywood, the likes of TV programs, the likes of news channels, the likes of, for example, cartoons, pornography, games, all these different media platforms that are being used in today's world, they are tools for the arrogant powers, for the evil powers, for the evil rulers. That this is how they influence our lifestyles, our thinking, our behaviors. There is no change. They might use different tools, but the same aim they have. They just want to rule upon us, and they do not care about anything else. They care about their self-interest, like Muawiyah used to do. And this is how they are controlling our lives. You look at the fashion industry right now. They're controlling our lifestyle, our youth's lifestyle, even the old people's lifestyle, the way they dress, the way they go out and behave, the Hollywood movies, the music industries. You look at them, this is how they are controlling. Idol, a role model is someone who is, for example, a soccer player, or someone who is, for example, a musician, someone, for example, a Hollywood actor. And you see their own lives, they are fully indulged in drugs, in alcohol, and so on and so forth. So unfortunately, within today's society, we see all this corruption. And this is no difference at the time of Muawiyah. Muawiyah wanted to rule upon the people. Likewise, in today's society, we see arrogant powers. They just want to rule over people. They want their products to be bought, and they gain in return, they gain status, they gain more power, they gain more money. Another industry which has destroyed our youth, and inshallah, if God wills, in future, probably sometime, I'll talk about pornography, how pornography has destroyed our youth, the potential of our youth, how they have been indulging in sins which are destroying their spirituality. Other TV programs which are influencing negatively how they think, how they behave. One of my friends, he spoke to me regarding the Netflix programs, the TV serials, how these TV programs or serials are directly and indirectly creating doubts within the minds of the religious people, that how religion is some artificial stuff which has no basis, so on and so forth. So directly and indirectly, they are influencing our mindsets, our lifestyles, and we don't know anything about it. And likewise, in the day of Muawiyah, he used the tools that were important for that time of those people. At the time of Muawiyah, what were the things that were important for the people at that time? One of the things that they paid great importance to was poetry, adab. At that time, the time of Muawiyah, at the time of Rasulullah, at the time of Imam Ali, people paid great importance to poetry, adab. So what did Muawiyah do? Muawiyah used to buy great poets So they used to come and write poetry and used to recite poetry in the praise of Muawiyah, and used to give bad name to other true companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the example is Akhfal Nasrani. He was one of famous poets at that time. He was one of the people who was used by Muawiyah, and he made many students like himself, who was a tool for Muawiyah, who used to deviate people from the religion of Islam. Likewise, today, in today's society, we have exactly the same people that are using different tools such as media platforms and other different platforms. They kind of influence all our minds, all our behaviors, my sisters and brothers. One of the ulamas, may Allah prolong his life, he says some of the news channels that they propagate against the holy personalities, the noble personalities, sometimes watching those news channels are worse than watching pornography, for example. Now, by saying this doesn't mean you go and watch, for example, pornography. What this means is that it means that you have to stop watching all this stuff, especially the propagation that some of the media platforms are doing right now. We have to be smart. We have to do our own research in regards to why I have to accept this ideology. We have to do a lot of research, and we have to make our lifestyle according to Islam. Not because of some Hollywood actor, some musicians, for example, some other platforms. This was one of the ways that Muawiyah used in his favor. Another thing that Muawiyah used at that time was, because at that time the Muslims paid more importance to the Holy Quran and to the people who used to quote the words of Rasulullah or the actions of Rasulullah. We call them muhaddithin. These people were the ones that the people paid great importance to. So this was another tool for Muawiyah to use it for himself. One was, for example, the propagation with the poetry. The other one was that he used the Holy Quran, the people who used to do commentary on Holy Quran, he bought those people and made the Quran for himself. At that time, they used to call them Qurra or Qari, we call it right now. But right now when we say Qari, we usually think of a Qari, someone who just recites Holy Quran with great voice and so on and so forth. But at that time when someone used to say Qari means someone who memorized Quran by heart and also who does commentary on Quran too, tafsir of Quran. So another tool for Muawiyah was that he bought some of the Qaris. So the Qaris do the interpretation of the Holy Quran for Muawiyah's side. And also the other people, such as Muhaddithin, or the people who used to quote the words, some of the companions who used to quote the words of Rasulullah and his actions. So Muawiyah bought these kind of people too. So they fabricated, they made fake hadith, traditions from Rasulullah. Na'uzubillah. This is what they did. And we have this kind of people such as Abu Huraira, such as Mughira, such as Amr As. We have these evil personalities who wrongly associated words towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These kind of people were bought by Muawiyah, and they fabricated ahadith on the favor of Muawiyah and against Imam Ali alayhi salam. That is why we see within the history that for many years from the member of Rasulullah, Imam Ali alayhi salam used to be cursed, na'uzu billah, at the time of Muawiyah. You go read the Sunni narrators, the Sunni ulamas, you go read them. Some of them are just in this regards. They say the wrong things that the Muawiyah did. And this was another tool for Muawiyah. The propagation, how he used to propagate, how he used to advertise different stuff. One is that he bought poets. Secondly, the muhaddithin. Thirdly, which was the qurra, the qari people. Now another way of him deviating people from the right path was bribery. Now a lot of people, many people at that time knew what the truth was. So just by people such as fake hadith, they weren't about to go to the side of Muawiyah. So Muawiyah's another method of deviation of people were bribery. Muawiyah used to give them gifts. Muawiyah used to give them status. Muawiyah used to give them money in order so these people come towards the side of Muawiyah. And the same thing is happening in today's world, my brothers and sisters. People are being deceived like this. Especially as I've mentioned before that in olden times, at their time, if a leader of a tribe accepts something, the whole people of that tribe accepts that thing. Likewise, they had this tribal mentality within themselves. So Muawiyah used it on his own benefit. So he gave millions, hundreds of thousands of dirham and dinar in order to buy the leaders of the tribe, and used it for his own benefits. This was another way of making the things for himself. For example, I'll give you another example. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when Imam Ali alayhi salam was martyred, Imam Hassan alayhi salam became the Khalifa, and Muawiyah and Imam Hassan. Muawiyah stood against Imam Hassan, and Imam Hassan assembled thousands of warriors to fight against Muawiyah. And when Imam Hassan assembled thousands of soldiers, he made the commander of these warriors by the name of Abdullah ibn Abbas. He was the commander of those thousands of soldiers that were about to fight the Muawiyah. But unfortunately, you go read the history, how depressing it gets. It means that Abdullah ibn Abbas, he was offered 1 million dirham from Muawiyah to come and join his camp, his side, the commander of Imam Hassan now. He accepts his offer at night, he runs away, and then he joins the side of the Muawiyah. This was one of the reasons that forced Imam Hassan alayhi salam to compromise with Muawiyah, to go and make a sulhnama with Muawiyah. Unfortunately, we see this within the history. This was one of the methods that Muawiyah used to do his things. Thirdly, if people didn't come towards him because of the fake or propagations, all this, if people didn't come towards him because of the money, because of the status, because of all this stuff, the third option that he used to do was threat those people. If they don't listen to his threats, he will torture them, and at the end he will kill those people. And we see this within the politics of Muawiyah, that he used to have this option too. He killed many people, he imprisoned many people, he tortured many people, even the companions of Rasulullah, he tortured them. I'll give you some of the examples. Some of the companions of Rasulullah, and Imam Ali was martyred and tortured by Muawiyah, despite Muawiyah knowing that if I kill them, it will be a problem for me. But he had no choice, and he killed some of the companions in brutality. And I'll give you some of the examples. One of the examples is Hujr ibn Adi, one of great companions of Rasulullah and Imam Ali alayhi salam. He killed Hujr ibn Adi and his son for what? For the love of Imam Ali alayhi salam. You go and brothers read the history. How he killed Hujr ibn Adi. How he was martyred by Muawiyah. Another example, Amr ibn Hamiq Khuzai, another great companion of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He was martyred, he was beheaded, and his head was sent to his wife. And his wife gave Muawiyah a message. And then Muawiyah became upset and angry, and he evicted his wife of Amr ibn Hamiq Khuzai, out of a Muslim land. And you see within the history, Banu Umayyah, you see the martyrdom of Rushayd Hajari, another great companion of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He was martyred, his hands were cut off, his legs were cut off, and then his tongue was cut off. Why? Because he was praising Imam Ali, he was telling the right Islam. And Muawiyah ibn Bani Umayyah were the reasons behind this. These were the people who oppressed the companions of Imam Ali alayhi salam and killed them. The companions of Rasulullah, you see Maysam Tammar, how he was martyred brutally by Ibn Ziyad, a Bani Umayyah's person. You see all these people. You see all the corrupt methods of Muawiyah, how he came and made the Islam, in a sense, Muawiyah came and he basically distorted the message of Islam during his ruling. And he even tried his best to make Yazid like himself. You go read the history, my brothers. He worked really hard to make Yazid like himself. An evil politician just rule over people to have the governorship. He tried his best. He sent Yazid to different teachers. So Yazid becomes the so-called politician that he was himself. But Yazid couldn't. I'll give you one of the examples. The will that Muawiyah did to his son Yazid, let's see some of the points that he told Yazid what to do. He told Yazid in his will, Muawiyah says this, that, O Yazid, O my son, I have provided for you to be the Khalifa. I have provided the ground for you to be the Khalifa. And none of the people before me did this for their children. I have provided this ground for you to be the Khalifa now. And he says that I'm going to tell you a few stuff that you have to obey all these commands that I'm telling you in order to make your government strong. He comes and says, O Yazid, O my son, with the people of Iraq, you know what you should do? Because the people of Iraq, they like their governors to be changed. And if they asked for the governors to be changed, do it quickly. Why? Because it is better to change a governor than going against thousands of soldiers, fighting against thousands of soldiers. He told Yazid that this is what you should do when it comes to the people of Iraq. Or for example, he says with the people of Hijaz, the people of Hijaz thinks that they are the inheritor of Islam. So Yazid, you know what you should do with the people of Hijaz? You pay respect towards them. You invite them towards yourself. And if they come and visit you, you pay great hospitality towards them. Give them gifts and pay respect. And if they don't come towards you, send someone from your side towards them and ask about their life and Show that you care for them. This is what you should do with the people of Iraq. And he also says that after me there are some people, some personalities that will not pay allegiance to you. Such as, for example, he spoke about the son of Abu Bakr, the son of Umar. He spoke about Imam Hossaini alayhi salam. And with each one of them, he gave advice to Yazid that how you should treat them. And when it came to when the turn of Imam Hussein came, he said that with Hussein, if he doesn't pay allegiance to you, and if you are forced to go and fight him, and if you succeed, then be kind to Imam Hussein. The reason is that because Imam Hussein has great reputation within the Muslim Ummah, and if you do something bad with him, it will be bad for your governorship. It will be bad for your government. So after, if you succeed, be kind. Why? The reason is that the people see him as grandson of Rasulullah, and people pay respect. For your government, it is not good that you be cruel to them. This is how Muawiyah told Yazid. But instead, Muawiyah, as soon as he became the Khalifa, he told the governor of Medina that these three people, if they pay allegiance, good. If not, bring their heads to me. He didn't listen to his father, Muawiyah, the evil politician. And another thing that we need to analyze is that there were different phases also that played important part too in Muawiyah's deception. Let's make it into three phases. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Another thing, as I said, which made great importance to, were the different phases. Now let's explain this phase. One phase is before Imam Ali becoming Khalifa. One phase. One period of time. Before Imam Ali becoming the Khalifa, Muawiyah was given the governorship of Sham, Syria, at the time of the second Khalifa. And the third Khalifa came, Osman. He was remained there, and he was given more authorities. So for 20 years, he ruled that part of land, which was far from Medina, as I've mentioned before. And Muawiyah did whatever he wanted. Muawiyah did whatever he wanted. This was one part of his time there. At the time, another phase, at the time of the Khilafat of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Muawiyah propagated. Muawiyah told the people that Imam Ali is behind the killing of the third Khalifa Osman, and he bought people, and he propagated within the Muslim Ummah, and he made an army on this basis that Imam Ali killed Osman. And that is why the battle of Siffin took place at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Muawiyah deviated people that Imam Ali was the killer. But when you go and read the history, you will find out that who was the killer. And during the time of Ali fought Battle of Jamal, Battle of Siffin, Battle of Nahrawan against the Khawarij. It was a hard time for Imam Ali alayhi salam. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was martyred, the third phase, we could say, was the time of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when he became Khalifa. Now at this time, some of the people of the Kufa, they were tired of fighting. As we can see, even before this, you can see from Nahjul Balagha, that Imam Ali alayhi salam criticizes people. That when I say come and stand against oppression in the summer, you guys come and tell me that it is too hot. When I tell you to come and fight in winter, you guys come and tell me that it is too cold. This is how people made excuses. When Imam Ali alayhi salam said, come and join the Haqq. And when the time of Imam Hassan alayhi salam came, Muawiyah took advantage of this kind of stuff. He propagated that, see what Imam Ali did to you people, now his children will do the same thing. They made a Muslim fight another Muslim. This is how they do their politics. And after, when Imam Hassan was martyred, and even at the time of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, as I mentioned before, Ubaidullah ibn Abbas, how he for 1 million dirham he joined the commander of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. He joined Muawiyah's side. And when Imam Hassan alayhi salam was martyred, Imam Hussein alayhi salam became the Khalifa, and he took this responsibility of Imamat at the time of Muawiyah. And he was there with Muawiyah for 10 years. So the time when Imam Hassan was martyred until Muawiyah, when he went to the hell, it was 10 years gap. So Imam Hussein was there for 10 years with Muawiyah. And some people might come and say that the day of Ashura was very hard. It was very difficult for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. But oh my brothers, imagine Imam's pain, Imam Hussein's pain of these 10 years with Muawiyah. Some of the ulamas have come and said this, that the pain was greater than the day of Ashura. These 10 years of Imam Hussein. Because when Imam Hassan was alive, two brothers used to discuss things amongst each other. The love was there, the support was there, and everything was there. When Imam Hassan passed away, imagine the heart of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. No companions, very, very few companions. And you see Imam Hussein alayhi salam dealing with an evil politician such as Muawiyah, father of Yazid. Now, let me conclude this by a dialogue. Let me conclude my speech by a dialogue of between Imam Hussein and Muawiyah. So Muawiyah wanted his son Yazid to become the Khalifa. He came to Hijaz to make the ground for Yazid to become the Khalifa. In one of the dialogues, when we analyze, we see some great important points that we can learn from it. Muawiyah speaks to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He comes and says, "Oh Hussein, what is your problem?" In my words, what is your problem? Why aren't you paying allegiance to Yazid? Why are you creating division between the Muslim Ummah? Now, if you pay allegiance, the other people will come and pay allegiance. Why are you creating a big fuss about it? And then Imam Hussein alayhi salam replies. He says, "Oh Muawiyah, you ruled for many years. And you created fitna. You killed many people. You were the person who did many corruption. And you're telling me that I'm creating division." He says to Muawiyah that now, this is the time that you're about to die. This is the end of your life. You've made all this corruption in your life, all this killing, all this evil stuff. Now at the end of your life, don't buy the sins of who? The sins of Yazid. Now don't take the sins of Yazid with you. So Imam Hussein advised him there that don't take Yazid's sins with you now. You have done your life, your corruption. That is more than enough for yourself. Now you're taking your son's sins with you. And then Muawiyah Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, "How can you make him Khalifa after you? Yazid, everyone knows that he disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands. He is a drunk person. He does all the things that are against Islamic teachings, and you want him to be Khalifa or Muslimin? And Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, there are more better people than Hussein's father. There are more better people than Yazid's father, Yazid's mother, and Yazid himself within the Ummah. And you selecting Yazid, and you are selecting Yazid? And then Imam Hussein, and then Muawiyah comes and replies Imam Hussein and says to Imam Hussein that, are you talking about yourself? And then Imam Hussein says, yes. And then Muawiyah replies Imam Hussein by saying this, that when you said that your mother is better than the mother of Yazid, yes, you're correct. Your mother Fatima salamullah alayha is from the tribe of Quraysh, and the mother of Yazid, she is not from the tribe of Quraysh. You see the mentality here, my brothers, that the greatness is according to the tribe here. You look at the mentality of Muawiyah. And Bani Umayyah was known for their racism too. If you go and read the history, they were very racist. They were very sensitive when it came to Arab and non-Arabs. So here he comes and replies Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he says, yes, your mother Fatima salamullah alayha is better than the mother of Yazid. Because why? Mother of Yazid is not from the tribe of Quraysh. And then he comes and says that you said your father Ali is better than the father of Yazid. Let's think about it. He says that. And then the amazing, my brothers, you look at this, the Muawiyah's mentality here. He says, your father Ali is not greater than the father of Yazid. Why? Because in one of the battles, Yazid succeeded over your father. He was talking about the battle of Siffin, when Muawiyah was about to lose, but close-minded Khawarij became the problem. And he goes that, yes, in this regards, I'm better than your father because I succeeded in that battle. You see his mentality? And you see this mentality of Yazid too. Yazid had the same mentality. When the Imam Sajjad alayhi salam and Lady Zainab, they came to Yazid's palace, you know what Yazid said? One of the things he said was, didn't you see what Allah did to you people? The same thing Muawiyah says here. He says, didn't you see that Allah made me win over your father? And he thinks this is greatness. And this is how they used to deviate people. This kind of mentality, they used to use it at that time. That Allah made us superior than these other companions. They did all the corruption. Yazid was the one who gave the orders of the killing of Imam Hussein and everything. And when it came to the part where you take the responsibility, this is how they deviate people. They said that, didn't you see what Allah did to you people? Running away from their actions. So this was another mentality that they used to deviate people too. And then he goes, and Muawiyah says that you said you're better than Yazid. Now Muawiyah is speaking to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He's saying, oh Hussein, you're not better than Yazid. And then Imam Hussein, he was amazed, and he says, you're saying I'm not better than a sharab khor sagbaz, a person who openly disobeys Allah's commands. You're saying I'm not better than Yazid? And Muawiyah replies by saying that stop backbiting your uncle's son. You see that? Amazing. Uncle's son, as I said before, because they were from the tribe of Quraysh, and between the tribe of Quraysh there was as we call it, sub-tribe, for example, Bani Hashim, Bani Umayyah, and they used to call each other uncle's friend, Pisare Ammu. So here, Muawiyah replies to Imam Hussain alayhi salam saying that, stop backbiting Yazid, your uncle's son. Now, you're like, a person who openly disobeys Rasulullah's commands, openly in front of everyone. He does it openly and we can't even speak about it. It becomes backbiting. Even in today's society we have this kind of people, unfortunately. At the time of Imam Khomeini rahmatullah alayh, when he used to openly speak about the evil politics of Shah, some people, religious people, used to come and tell Imam that stop backbiting. Now, Muawiyah is using this trick too here, to deviate people. He says to Imam Hussein, stop backbiting. A person who openly does all the wrong things, his father comes and tells that, oh Hussein, Yazid is better than you. You know why? Because you backbite him, and Yazid never tells anything bad about you behind your back. This is how evil politics, they change haq and batil. They play with the words. They play with the values. They play with the teachings of Islam. This is how Muawiyah did his evil politics. This is how he deviated people from the right path of Islam. And unfortunately, the people, the companions that knew the haqq, didn't stood against these kind of corrupt politicians. Because of their lives, because of their personal interest. And inshallah we'll talk about it in future nights, that what were the reasons that people were deceived. What were the reasons? Inshallah we'll discuss it in future nights. And tonight is the night of Babul Hawaij, my brothers and sisters. Tonight is a very special night that we make connection with Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam. Now he might be 6 months old baby, but he does wonders, my brothers. His Babul Hawaij, his Babul Hussain. Even it is famous here in Hausa that whenever great ulamas, they had problems, they used to call the reciters towards their house and take majlis within their houses, and used to tell them to recite the Masaib of Ali Asghar, the Babul Hawaij. And tonight is the night, my brothers and sisters, that we ask for the reappearance of Imam of our time and to be his pure companions. This is what we want from Babul Hawaij, Ali Asghar Salamullah alayha. Ali Asghar alayhi salam. This is what we want from them. And another important thing that I would like to mention here is that we always have to connect to these great personalities in order to stay on this haq path. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. My brothers and sisters, on the day of Ashura, when everyone was martyred, Ali Akbar was martyred, Ali Asghar, Qasim was martyred, Abul Fazl al-Abbas was martyred, all the companions of Hussein were martyred. ساعد الله قلبك يا أبا عبد الله يا بقية الله. Oh my brothers, the last person before Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was Ali Asghar. Abu Abdullah al-Hussein goes towards the tents. He asks his sister, Lady Zainab, that, oh sister, bring Ali Asghar for me. Ali Asghar, who has been thirsty for days, a baby of 6 months old. Lady Zainab goes and brings Ali Asghar. Ali Asghar was given to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and some of the narrators say from the tents till the place where Ali Asghar was martyred, it wasn't so long. The narrators say that Hussein put his Abba on the face of Ali Asghar because of the sun's heat. Oh my brothers and sisters, now I ask you about Abdullah al-Hussein, were you ready for the arrow that was shot from the Hurmala? The narrators say that Hussein has Ali Asghar, a baby, in his arms, and he goes to the battlefield, and the La'in shot the arrow, and it struck the neck of Ali Asghar. My brothers and sisters, now imagine a 6 months old baby. An arrow was struck towards his neck, and the father, the beloved father of Hussein, is holding the baby in his arms, and the arrow strikes the neck of Ali Asghar. And the father is watching. The father Hussein is watching. This was probably one of the places that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paid condolences to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, because this affected Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. The arrow which struck the neck of Ali Asghar, the 6 months old baby, affected Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh Abu Abdullah, oh Hussein, let go of your child, from there we'll take care of him. Now my brothers, Hussein, for hours he's been coming to the battlefield. He's taking the body of his loved ones, his companions, his son Ali Akbar, his brother's son Abdullah Qasim, his beloved brother Abul Fazl Abbas, and now he's holding a 6 months old baby that these enemies didn't even, their hearts were softened because of the 6 months old baby. Now how hard it is, my brother, holding a baby, a 6 months old baby. How can a 6 months old baby bear such oppression? Imagine, my brothers, when the arrow struck the neck of Ali Asghar alayhi salam, how much he would have. Now how hard it is for Abdullah al-Hussein coming back towards the tents, because the mother of Ali Asghar, Rubab, was there. Lady Zainab Salamullah alayha was there. The children were there. But instead, when he was going towards the tents, he goes behind the tents and with his sword dug a small tiny grave to put Ali Asghar in the grave. Now imagine the kids love the babies, don't they, my brothers and sisters? Imagine the heart of Sakina here. Sakina must be asking his father, oh father, where is Ali Asghar now? Where is my brother Ali Asghar? Oh Allah, for the sake of Ali Asghar, please, may give us the strength to follow the right path and give us shahada, inshallah. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يداي. اللهم ارزقني شهادة في سبيلك. اللهم ارزقني حبك. Allahumma shfi kulla marid. Oh Allah, for the sake of Ali Asghar, there are many people who have said, who have asked for dua. Oh Allah, please solve all their problems. Oh Allah, for the sake of Ali Asghar, give fast and full recovery to all mu'mineen and mu'minat. Oh Allah, give us the strength to follow the right path. اللهم أعطني بصيرة في دينك وفهما في حكمك. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل